this video tutorial, you will learn how to write your term paper. So by now, let's recap just a bit. You have done the following things. You've brainstormed some ideas, you've done some initial reading, and you've put together an annotated bibliography. You've made an outline, your teacher has approved it, and you're taking notes and reading all of your sources and filling out the skeleton of your outline. So now it's time to put it all together and actually write that paper. Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to find this document so that you can reference it. Where do you find it? Well, you come over to your wiki and you can find it on the front page of this wiki. You can find it on the sidebar of this wiki, and once you get that document, put it into your index of your Google Docs or print it out for your files so you can hang on to it. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to bookmark this site over here. It's the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, and it really is very, very comprehensive. It will answer just about any question that you have about how to write, whether all the words in the title should be capitalized or not, how to fix your run-on sentences, what to do with the comma, and any other question, especially the ones about the paraphrasing and direct quoting. The next thing is to begin writing the paper. So you probably think that you're going to start with an introduction. Well, actually I suggest that you wait and do your introduction at the very end. That way you won't be facing writer's block because you will have said everything that you're going to say about your topic. You will know exactly how to introduce it. Remember that an introduction is a first chance that you get to make an impression on your reader, and you have to pass what I call the so what test. In other words, it can't be boring. In your introduction, make sure that you give the reader a reason to want to continue on and read what it is that you're going to be proposing. Your introduction to your paper is not all that different from the introductory paragraph to your 5-paragraph essay that you know how to write so well in your English and French classes. It has a thesis statement that is crafted and has supporting points. Well, your introduction is not that different in your paper. So if you come down over here, press pause on your machine and take the time to read this introduction over here and tell me if you can find, or tell me what you think the thesis statement is for this introduction. Go ahead, I'll wait. If you chose this, that St. Francis chose poverty and the love of animals above all things, but most importantly, we can learn today from his exemplary life, you're pretty close. What this paper is going to be trying to show is that St. Francis of Assisi was indeed the very first ecological warrior. Let's have a couple of words about the conclusion. A conclusion is more than just restating what you've already said. Mind you, you should do a little bit of that, because sometimes a little bit of repetition just helps to make your point. What should you really be doing in your conclusion? Well, in your conclusion, you tell your reader what it is that you think you did successfully. Wrap up your main point and restate your main idea, but also do something extra. Go a little bit further. In your conclusion, you should be able to leave a lasting good impression on the reader of what it is that you think they have learned. So you can restate that. Remember, you can also give your reader something to think about that's related to your main idea, but don't give any new ideas in your conclusion. Keep your conclusion about as long or as short as your introduction. So now we're going to look at format. The format of the paper here is the same as you will use in CEGEP and in university. So learn these styles and adopt some good behavior early on in your academic career. The first thing that you will see here at the top of my list, and these are listed not in any order of great importance, but just as they came to me, you need to remember to use a size 12 font only and Times New Roman only. The only time when you will not be using this size and this font is when you are using footnotes. You drop it down to a size 10 and you may italicize it, but it's still in Times New Roman. When you're putting your heading for your paper, this is a sample paper that I wrote, so you see this heading here. This is size 14. Excuse me. Otherwise, it's size 12 all the way along. You should insert a heading, and whether you do this in Google Docs or whether you do it in Word, you should still have a heading there, and it's pretty easy to do. Just come into Insert, go down into Page Header over here, and you can also insert a number and number your pages. So as you see, as I wrote here, so this is the introduction that you just read a while ago, and it needs to be indented, so hit the Tab key. And here is the first section that is centered. This subtitle is centered because it's section 1. I could have written section 1 early experiences, but that is not attractive looking. This is the first point in this section, and I could have put 1.1, A Life of Pleasure, but again, I just chose to keep my subtitle here. So this is a size 12. You can keep it a bold font. And in my first body paragraph, you see that I have a footnote here. So you have to do a couple of things to footnote. First of all, you underline or select the text that you're going to be quoting directly or turning into a direct quote, as here. Select this, and then you need to go up to link, insert the link, and this will come up. And so here you see that the text that you're going to turn into a link is this, The King of Frolic, and this is the URL for the source where I am direct quoting from the text, and you click that, and that will turn your text into a hyperlink. Now you need to insert a footnote. Control Alt F or come down and select footnote, and that will put a number 1 right next to the text that you have turned into a link. Why you need to do this is because when the teacher is reading your text, they can click on your direct quote, go directly to where it is that you have quoted, and read what it is that you've got there, the source that you're quoting, and then at the bottom of the page they see, for more information, they see the full source right here. There's a difference between the URL right here and the full source that you're citing over here. Remember that when you're learning how to make these citations, strongly recommend that you use EasyBib. At the end of your project, if you have 4 or 5 quotes, you will see that EasyBib will remember all of them here, and it will prepare a bibliography for you. You can have that printed out in a Google Doc, as I did over here, in which case you just select your text, Control A, Control C, go over to your paper and insert a horizontal line as such between your text and your works cited. You could also call this bibliography, it's the same thing, and paste your text in, work out the spacing a little bit, put numbers 1 and numbers 2, and that way that you have provided a bibliography or a works cited page onto your paper. This empty number 3 over here is to remember that if you're going to be using special images that you need to remember to include the put a brief descriptor of what the image is. So say image number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and then St. Francis and the birds or whatever descriptor you've got, and then the URL for your image. So the last thing you need to do is reread your paper and have it read by, of course, yourself and perhaps by another friend. That way, if you've missed a mistake, another pair of eyes who are not so tired and not so used to reading the same text might see it for you. Pay attention to the spell checker and do your very best job. If you have any questions at all about how to do this assignment, you know where you can find your teachers and how you can get in touch with us. Good luck and do your very best job.